Today, you are going to witness Jim from Weird Science and I discussing just the most convoluted comic book probably in the history of DC Comics. This thing goes in so many different directions. There's reveals and double crosses and new reveals that overdo the reveal that already happened in the comic book. And it literally goes on for like 50 pages of absolute nonsense. I did talk about Nightwing Annual 2024 more in the vein of just what a wasted character Bea Bennett is, trying to get this character over and thinking that you can just add layers of new powers and extra history to the character to make her more interesting, which is basically fool's gold. It never really works on any of these characters. People have to buy in before that. But I did absolutely undersell just how bad Nightwing Annual 2024 is. And I must say the entire DC slate of comic books this week are just atrocious. The only thing that kind of comes close to kind of being okay is Superman House of Brainiac Special, because the beginning and the end of that are like Josh Williamson fleshing out what Brainiac is doing before he grabs all the Superman family members. But sandwiched in the middle of it is a really stupid story by Mark Russell. What else could it be if it was written by Mark Russell? That guy is a complete hack. DC Spring Breakout, another terrible anthology with terrible creators. The headliner is Megan Fitzmartin. That tells you how bad that book is. Harley Quinn Annual 2024, which I'm going to review with Doc on Monday. Erica Henderson writing and illustrating. Woo, that thing is the gift that keeps on giving. And there was another annual out there, but I'm forgetting it at the moment. But they're basically just terrible. Oh, Flash Annual from Cy Spurrier. Terrible across the board. This is probably, since I've had the channel in the 6 years that I've had it, the worst week of DC Comics I've ever experienced in my life. And I truly believe that Nightwing Annual 2024, written and illustrated by Travis Moore, is the creme de la crap, the crowning jewel, the cherry on top of the shit Sunday that DC Comics delivered this week. Jim and I record the Hot or Not podcast exclusively for Patreon, but every once in a while, there's a conversation about a comic book or a topic that I think is funny, so I end up making it into a video. So do keep in mind, I wasn't recording this thinking that it was going to be a YouTube video, but in the end, it was so good, I had to make it a YouTube video. So I'm not going to be looking at the camera. I'm kind of looking all over the place, reading some notes and stuff like that, as Jim and I are trying to wrap our heads around one of the dumbest comic books in the history of DC. And not only is it stupid, it is the most convoluted single issue of comic book ever released in the history of DC Comics, likely in the history of comic books in general. That's how stupid this is. There are so many reveals and non-reveals and twisted turns and double crosses and triple crosses, and Dick Grayson is just oblivious throughout the entire thing, even though it was Nightwing Annual. Annuals used to be a cool idea. Just get rid of it. It's not fun anymore. But this conversation is fun, and I do hope you enjoy the verbal stylings of Jim and I as we try to talk our way through one of the worst comic books in recent memory.
But yeah, Mark Russell sucks. I'll tell you that. Though
the next one is Nightwing Annual.
Yeah.
From I can't remember.
Travis Moore.
Travis Moore. Yeah. He wrote and illustrated this thing.
Travis Less.
And what a waste of fucking ink and paper. What a stupid comic book. This makes Bea the Pirate Princess, which was already hella convoluted and made no sense.
Yep.
And just takes it to the fucking stratosphere.
Waste of paper, ink, and I want my fucking time back. This issue I thought it was over 17 times. This thing reads like it's 500 pages. Twist after twist after stupid ass twist. Like, you think that you got an idea of what's going. Okay, that's what oh, wait a minute. What the fuck? Like, at the end, I just thought, like, this is almost like what people hate about the Star Wars universe, about everything connected, everybody important. In one character, even more convoluted. I ended up like, what? Fuck off. I like Bea. Not anymore. I hate her guts. You tell people what the fuck this angered me.
Bea is not Bea, she's Destiny. And she and her mother, because her mom got a new job, decided to sail to their new fucking job. That makes a whole lot of sense, because everyone just goes and sails to their new business or whatever.
Yeah. By themselves.
The boat gets blown up. And she doesn't realize if her mom pushed her or she was blown off the boat. But she survived in 3 days in the ocean by herself, despite being like 8 years old. They're going to put her into foster care. She hears that in the hospital. She escapes. The company that had hired her mom was going to dig up the homeless.
Yeah.
The place that the homeless people had taken over. They bought it and were going to turn it into a factory. Yes, the tent city. So she's like, these fuckers, I can't believe my mom's going to work them. So she stole the $1 billion yacht of the owner of the company to go back to where her mom drowned.
Yeah.
Only to be discovered by pirates led by the quartermaster, who within a few short years were like, oh my goodness, she is so fucking amazing. She is the heir apparent to the pirate fucking fortune.
Didn't you think you'd have the brother in this to show at least, right? Yeah.
Well, he even says, I've disowned your brother. So, it's all going to you, kid. Mm-hmm. And then she's like, with all my pirate training, I really appreciate this, but I'm going to have to get back to you because I've got other business to attend to.
Yep.
She goes to investigate what happened to her mother, almost gets to the bottom of who actually carried it out, runs into a member of Spiral. They begin fighting. She's so overwhelmingly impressed. She immediately recruits her into Spiral, trains her up to be an agent. And then she's like, all of my pirate training made it so where I went right through spy training. It's like, are we sure that pirate skill sets are actually transferable to fucking espionage and spy?
I actually have background in this. I know for a fact that knowing all the sea shanties makes you a spy. She's in St. Hadrian's School for Girls, which if you read the Spiral book, the Grayson book, that's where Grayson went to work at Spiral and ends up almost being there with the Grayson.
She goes by him and they're like, hey, he's the one that teaches acrobatics. She's like, nah, he's a player.
Yeah, he's a player, all right. And then she's then she's Black Widow. Every step of the way, there's another twist. You keep going because the twist on twist is incredible.
The member of Checkmate who killed her mom, she finds out was KGB's, who had just shot
Dick Grayson.
Yep. And then Checkmate wanted her to check in on him, so she created a bar because they knew Dick Grayson has lost his memory and he's going to need a watering hole. And he ended up being their best customer and falling in love with her because she was sent there to keep tabs on him.
Yeah.
Like, we're talking like layers upon layers upon layers upon layers upon layers of bullshit added onto one character in one fucking comic.
Every 3 pages, I mean,
was told, another reveal.
Yeah, the mom worked for this bad company. Then wait a minute.
She was Checkmate.
Checkmate. Oh, no. She was a double agent, Checkmate Spiral. Oh my God, Checkmate killed. Oh, wait a minute. It wasn't. It was Spiral that killed. Oh my God. It's like, you don't ever stop. It just keeps going and getting more and more convoluted just to have them say, oh, that's why she was in a bar and became the Pirate Queen, because the Pirate Queen, that's on top of all this. Like, all this is just happenstance and it doesn't make sense. And it just reads so slow. Like you're just going and everything is like, then I went here and then I went there. Well, that's
because every 2 pages you got to put the book down and be like, are you fucking with me?
Yeah.
These guys are fucking with me.
It's the, Robot Chicken where you have Mark Hamill's like, come on now. when you're going to try, get back to me. I mean,
remember when you were a kid and you guys would get in a circle and somebody would start a story?
Yeah.
And then the next kid would continue the story and
it got ridiculous.
And continue and it would just go in all these weird directions that made no sense because kids were trying to be funny or whatever.
Yeah.
But they made it into a comic book.
Yeah, or it's the same as you're saying as a kid and you're out playing like, let's play superheroes. And you're like, I'm a superhero, that's this. And then somebody, oh, wait a minute, I also have this. And it piles up. And I used to love doing that story deal. Me and a couple of my friends would do that. And we'd laugh because it'd get dirty. And I mean dirty is like pooping pants and stuff. Like I'm talking, we were like a little bit like, and then he shits his pants. And then, it wasn't actually shit. It's so fun.
And then they called him doo-doo head.
Yeah, exactly. But then he got mad and then it's the best. But yeah, and usually in that you get some asshole, me, who goes completely off and this is what happens. It goes so wacky to get to where then she ends up where then you get, I mean, things that are, Event Leviathan happens then. All of the organizations are taken out. They don't even spell it out completely. They should have named it a little better, but all the so now she could just be B. Bennett and live with Rick Grayson because, but you can't leave the life. And, it's even at that point, you still have 80 twists and turns going. It's so bad. Also, I just want to point out that her mom, working for a company that actually buys some property and says, hey, you homeless people that don't really need to be like, get the fuck out.
It's our land.
Yeah, they bought it. Like, I'm telling you.
Get the fuck out of here.
I don't need squatters' rights. Bullshit. Like, the idea that they're trying to push that is like, oh, that bad. No, but the organization itself ends up being checkmate. That ends up, I mean, everything is something weird and convoluted. It's so bad. To then, I mean, you even get a twist at the very end that you're like, what the fuck are you trying to do here?
And then Dick Grayson tells her who he is and his secret identity, and she doesn't reveal anything.
Yeah, and then they make sweet love.
She's that kind of asshole.
Yeah, she's like, that's the first night we made love. I thought she was going to say she was pregnant. And in that, she's like cutting off everything with Spiral, and it doesn't make sense with Rick Grayson. Then she's calling
it would have been better if the big reveal was that she murdered his dog.
That'd be awesome. When she sees, because she sees, but even then, she's like such the perfect, like all this shit. She goes, she's going to murder KG Beast. KG Beast then in jail says, you think that I'm Revenant? Ha, ha, ha. I'm not Revenant. It was Spiral that actually killed your mom. Oh, no. And then it twists and turns to end up being the woman who recruited her in the Spiral. Yeah, and then she sees Barbara and Dick, and I'm like, just kick that dog. Be so bad. But what is this trying to accomplish?
I think it's trying to make Bea Bennett the pirate princess spy master.
Like, I mean,
a big deal.
Did you think, like, Tom Taylor gets on, and a lot of people weren't hip on him at that point. A lot of people who read Marvel definitely weren't. But when you end up, he's going to take over from that Rick Grayson stuff. And if I said to you, write that first issue, which I thought was very, very good, it seemed like, all right, like somebody who likes Nightwing. If I said, listen, we're going to get really into this Bea Bennett by the end. Like, we're going to get fucked up shit with her. We're going to get a lot. Nobody would have believed me because we put that aside. And I still think they're trying desperately. I'm about to choke. They want to make it so she's bigger so she wasn't dicked over by Dick. I don't get it. That's
the best thing he ever did for her. I'm Dick Grayson again. You were dating Rick.
Yeah.
He's in the past.
Yeah, you like Rick with that scar and the shaved head.
We'll always have, whatever bar you had.
We'll always have the prodigal son bar, whatever the fuck it's going. The prodigal. It's nonsense. It's
terrible.
I like when she's like, I'm done with Spiral, and like, I'm going to unplug my stuff. I'm going to plug it back in. I'm going to see what's going on. And then at the very end, after all this shit happens, she's like, all right. I love, too, where she's like, oh, I guess that Dick Grayson is better off now. Oh, no, I got to fight the person who tried to recruit me into Spiral. I'm going to beat them, and then I'll fucking go back to being a pirate queen. This has to have been how long since? And this is why the brother is fucking pissed. She just walks back in. She trained for a couple weeks and then just comes out of nowhere, comes back. There she goes. She's the heir. And then at the end, her mother is alive watching and like, I hope, baby girl, I hope that you can have a good life and ready for what's next. I'm like, I'm not ready for what's next. Go fuck yourself. I mean, the idea at the end is the mother. How many twists?
It gets no worse. Like that's yeah.
It's so bad. Like at the end, it's almost like I am now wobbling. And all of a sudden they're just gonna come and knock me the hell out. Because I'm like, God,
you lobotomized yourself reading fucking Nightwing Annual 2024.
And the only thing, it's like you see this lady, oh destiny, baby. I hope you find happiness with your adopted family, but I'm afraid not even they can protect you from what's coming for you next. Is that the stuff we saw? Is that? I don't know.
Man.
Well, I wish
it'd be great. Like your wife walks in the room and you're just on the ground drooling, little bit of brain fluid coming out of your ears and nose,
is coming all out, and I'm like,
you're just holding Nightwing,
and I'm trying to point.
She's like, it finally did it.
Like, don't read. I'm like, shit my pants.
He gave himself an aneurysm.
I'm telling you, when I read this, I was, and we start at a time, and sometimes it takes a little longer. But this is where I was halfway through. I'm like, I'm going to need extra time. This is taking me so long to get through, and it's so
Geek Dad
bad.
even gave it an 8.5. That's basically like a 2 for him.
Yeah, he gave.
Even Nerd
Flash,
Initiative, who I've never seen give anything less than a 9, gave it an 8.8.
And even then, I mean, really, an 8.8 for this bullshit. It is such bullshit. It's a non-entity character that you keep elevating in the craziest fucking ways. This was a girl who ran a bar that Dick Grayson happened to walk in, and they became, lovers when he didn't have his memories. Now she is the biggest super spy there ever was. She's a pirate queen. I'm surprised she wasn't a president of the United States and an astronaut. We're going to find out all this other shit. I don't know. And her mom.
That would be the worst because the president's like, oh, I fucking need a burger. Goes into her bar and meets her. Is like, fuck me if you're not amazing.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to cede the presidency to you. Like, there's nothing I can do about this. Because literally everyone that runs into her gives her what they have.
Yeah, just everything. And to the nth degree. I mean, they're training her to do that, but she's always better than
pirate
what they
training
thought.
Really transferred over to the CIA.
She's there, jumping off of masts and things like that. Isn't spy training. It's bad.
Give me your R.
That's all it is. I wish that she'd talk like a pirate at least, but she doesn't. But now, after all, what does this do and what are they setting up? Because I still do think that she's going to be the one to take down Heartless, and they're setting it up so she could be this action hero. I don't know why.
If you're like, hey, I kind of like the flavor of what's going on there with Wes and Jim. As I mentioned, the Hot or Not podcast is exclusive to Patreon, and that is actually just a small portion of a 2.5-hour conversation that Jim and I essentially have every single week. If you would like more of those kind of reviews and conversations around comic books, definitely check out Think Critical Patreon. There's a link in the video description. It's on the DACA's right tier if you want some more Jim and Wes trying to suss out bad comic books.